I think I'm on. I'm going to pretend that I'm on. Well, let me see. Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm... Oh, wow. So I got two of them. Oh, I see. Well, that's too bad. I have to just deal with that. You can always change it later. Alright, good. So this is going to be a simple video about sort of how I would practice going through these changes, just some practical things. So I have this play along video that I posted with the Mr. C changes, Mr. PC changes, just real simple. It's an up-tempo song. I just want to give you some ideas how I might keep track of what I'm practicing on here. So let's see. I'm going to set the chat box over here. So the first thing, if you don't know what MuseScore is fantastic. And it's one of the programs I use to keep track of just some of the ideas that I come up with when I'm improvising or putting together jazz vocabulary, right? So if you have MuseScore, open up a new file. File, new. We'll just call it Improv Ideas. Alright, and then choose instrument. Most of you guys are trumpet. And we're in the key of... Here we are. So let's do D minor. How many measures do we want? We don't care. So the first thing, I'm going to turn up the volume just a little bit. I'm not sure how the delay is going to work with this. Let me see my volume. So I can hear it here. So there might be a little bit of a delay, but again, the point here is to come up with material. I think that the idea here isn't to write a solo necessarily. It's just to keep track of some ideas as you come up with things. As you're listening to the track, as you're playing along with the sounds, you start to put ideas together, and this is sort of a log or a journal of keeping track of the different ideas that you're playing, the different ideas that you come up with, the different things that you're trying to implement in your solos. For example, just the first 5 notes. If I come back around to the top, 2. I didn't play... keep going. And so in MuseScore, what I would do is keep track of the ideas. So if you want to put the chord changes, I think that's Control K, and we have D minor 7. We have 4 measures of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here, we have... Oh, what did I do? G minor 7 for 2 measures, D minor 7, and then we have B flat 7, it's A, let me see, A7 flat 13, and then D minor again. For both measures, yeah. Okay, so now that we know that, what in the world is this? D minor 7. Alright, perfect. So let's say you're playing along and just coming back to the top of the form. And you like the first 5 notes. So you might make a note of it. Ha! Get it? Make a note of it. And just write down the idea that you created that you love so much. And then you'll remember it. Now, if you change the rhythm up, maybe you like the rhythm that you chose. So maybe I like that rhythm. Oop, go back. And I'm going to write that here. Da boo doo boo da. Oh, that was quick. So now I have a couple ideas. No! Go back. Here we go. I'll have to do that one later. There we go. Now another... We'll get out of there. What a mess. I'm just kind of getting used to this screen sharing program. I want to make sure it works. Let's see. Get smaller. There we go. So that's the play along. There's that. Here's this. Let me sort of get organized here. Here's the chat. So now I have the chord changes there. That's all I really need. There. Organized. This is beautiful. So I have the chord changes going. And as I come up with ideas, I'll write them down and keep track of them. Now the cool news, anything you come up with for D minor 7, it's going to work really, really well for G minor 7. Now hang on for just a second, I'm going to do a quick sound check. See if this is coming through. Organized. It's beautiful. Oh, that's good. Seems like the sound's working fine. The chat box over here. Let's see. Now play something. I don't know what music. Alright, that's not too bad. I'll use it. That should be fine. So here's the track. Don't need that. Here's the ideas. Here's this. There's live streaming. Okay, perfect. Now that I got everything set up. So here are the ideas that we come up with, and you can write them right into MuseScore. Right now we're in G minor. And if you're fussy, like I am, and you want to just, let me show you. Spread this out a little bit. Go ahead and put 4 measures per thing. Get over there. That way you can kind of keep track of where you're at. Go. There. Now we're completely organized. And we have our changes right in front of us. And everything's perfect. Improv ideas. Yeah, I'm just writing real simple ideas right now. Okay, so maybe I like my blues idea that I came up with. So if there's a blues idea that I like, I'll write that one down too. So I might, independently of the play along, if I come up with an idea that I like, I'll write down something, let's see. If I come up with something that I like, I'm going to write it down to remember it. So what did I play? So maybe I like that simple idea. So I'm going to write it over the chord change that I played. And it was G sharp. Actually, it was more like a da-ba-da, do-ba-da, do-ba-da, do-ba-da. Yeah, let's just do this. Wow, that's doing some really awful things. Let's see. Oh, I see what I did. I messed it up when I... That makes sense. So I have this real simple idea. And if I string a lot of them together, which is what I'm going to do here, and then it gets me all the way to the downbeat. Nah, I shouldn't have made that. Here, I'm going to fix that. Go back there. Okay, so there's a D7 idea. And I'm not so worried again about the context or the order. I don't care about that. I just want to keep in mind what chord changes I'm utilizing in what order. And I'm just going to throw a couple ideas over the chord changes that I'm using. So when I get to D7, let's go. So I had one more. Two. So now I have my 5-note idea. I can play that 5-note idea in G7 the exact same way. And if I wanted to, so now that I have my chorus up here on top, I'm just going to do some independent ideas that I can just plug in there wherever I want. What's wrong with you? So here's my chord change that I like. Here's G minor 7. And since I have this idea here, alright, good, just pause that for a second. Since I'm using this idea over D minor 7, the equivalent idea over G minor 7, I could do this two ways. I could just type it in. I could literally just copy paste and plug that in there and use this tool up here to transpose, but we're not going to do that because we're not sissies. So we have so if I wanted to, and I might want to, I could do, so here's my G7 chord. I have 2 measures of that. This fits nicely over those 2 measures. I could play this idea and then come up with that idea right after that. Let's see how that works. Here it comes. I'm playing a little slow, but the idea works. So here's my chord. 1, 3, 1. like that one idea that I played. Ba-da-ba-da. Just a really simple idea, but I know it worked over D minor 7. And it was... So I had a couple ideas there that I played, working around the sort of what would be like a pentatonic blues scale. So let me write something down here. So one thing I played, I write this down because, not because I'm going to play it verbatim, but I like to rehearse the good ideas that I come up with. And I'll even go back after recording something and I'll listen to the good ideas that I came up with, and I'll write them down and I'll rehearse them. You know, I'll practice. Let's see. So using these, what's that idea? So the notes that I used here, so another thing I'll do when I'm practicing is I'll find a collection of notes that I like, and I'll start making material based on that collection of notes. So I'm using these notes, but only during the D minor 7 idea. So here on B7. So I'll go up. So I kind of like the way that worked. That's just the opposite way. Oop. And then it kind of lands on a downbeat. Actually, I'll put an extra measure between here so that I sort of think of these separate. So now that I have a couple ideas, I'm going to pause this, go back here. So this is a pretty fast tempo chart, right? Number one, the way to practice a fast tempo chart probably isn't, the best way to do it might not be to practice overly complicated ideas, let's say. So before I get to what I would do with these, I'm going to go back and just simplify sort of what to play, okay? So we're looking at these chord changes. I don't know if it's easier to look at them here or here. You have D minor 7, the first note's D, and when you go to the G minor 7, D is still a good note. D is a good note over a B flat 7. D is going to be a good note for most of this piece. When you get to the A7, you can change it to a D flat. So just listen to the way it sounds. F is another note that's going to sound good. F's going to sound good over the whole thing. G sounds good over the whole thing. And you can practice this, with long tones. You can literally go through your whole chromatic scale and just listen to what each note sounds like. Like A. So the only exception is when you get to that B flat 7, A flat is going to sound a little bit better because that's the 7th note there. And so that's where you want to learn to change your note. So with fast pieces, when you're improvising over a faster tune, when you're thinking through here, you don't want to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't think fast. When those chord changes are going by, think slower. 1, 2, 1, 2. Each measure 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. B flat, A7, D minor, D minor. And so when you play, think about taking your time, playing longer notes. Play simple ideas, and when you play simple ideas with a little bit of attitude, with some passion, they can be really effective. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. Complicated is a complicated word to say. Sorry, it's getting late. I'm getting sort of silly. You might just have to bear with me for a little bit. But it's okay because I don't think hardly anybody's watching. So, now that I talked about when you're playing a faster tempo song, elongating your notes, coming up with simpler ideas. So it can be simple, you can have plenty of space in there. Take your time when you're playing faster songs, but after you work on your guide tone line and you work on simpler ideas, if you want to work up some faster ideas, go ahead and push pause on your play along. Go back over here and take this for example. The way to practice that is start slow and start simple. If I just practice, this measure. Now these are just, this is a collection of notes. So what I do with a collection of notes when I'm practicing is using these notes, I expand my range up and down. So if I go all the way down using these notes, C, A, G, F, and D, I go all the way down. So let me add one note below a D. Go ahead and guess what that is. It's going to be C. So I add the C. Below the C is the A. Below the A is a G. I'm going to spread it, I'm going to go higher. So instead of starting on A, I'll start on the C. Again, just whatever tempo I can control. Now I'll start on D. Right? Now I'll start on F. And you find the sound that you like. And what you can play. So if I use that pattern now to improvise, it's not that I'm trying to play... Alright, watch. I'm not doing this. That sounds dumb, right? Agreed? Do we all agree that that sounds dumb? Good. So don't do that. Change the rhythm up. So there's a lick I'm playing in there that I keep goofing up. And that's what I ought to do. My fingers are doing one thing, and when that happens, when you play something that almost sounds great, go ahead and take a pause, and in fact, write down what that was. So this one that I played. Something like this. So that's the idea that I played. Okay. And I don't love that lick, but that's what's coming out. So I might change the idea a little bit. To play something that I like, let's do a G, A. So it's the same kind of collection of notes. Okay, I'll table that for now. It might grow on me. I might change it a little bit, but I'll tweak it for now. So back to the idea. Again, we're not going. You could, but the idea is to come up with material. So there I kind of did that lick again at the end, and it sort of worked. I didn't love it. So there's an idea I played that I kind of like. So I'll write that one down for the heck of it. Or at least I'll write the notes that I used. This isn't exactly the rhythm. Let me see. And actually I put it, let me see. This. And over here. because most of this is in D minor. Oh, I want that to happen. I mean, it's not the most impressive idea in the world, but, you know, I played it, I liked it. Let me go here. I just want to remember that I came up with it. So when I practice it, you know, I recall it for next time, and it's sort of a springboard for more ideas, right? And that's all we're doing here. 1, 2. So let's play it again. All right. Let's run through some of the ideas. So I sort of like playing that over the B flat 7. And so I'll write that down quick. I think I used a half note. So what did I do? So I started that on there. This one, I want that to be a rest. I do that. Da da. So over here I did a C sharp. Actually, this one's there we go. And here I have a quarter note, and it lands on da dee da 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 da. I kept the rhythm. There. So I like how that sounds. So what? There's another idea that I really like to play, so let me block off these. No, it's okay. What is that? So there's a, let me write a G7 lick here real quick. Just to plug it in. No, come on. Really? There. So if I have a G minor idea, let me show you this idea. Another one that I like to play. So I can play that in G minor, I can play that in D. It's a nice sort of starting point. If I take that same idea over D, it looks like this. And I'll write the chord change here. Actually, I think I need to do it over the note. There. D minor 7. So again, I write these not because I'm going to exactly play this. In fact, I would probably start it on beat 3 instead of beat 1. But I would play with the rhythm. Know what I mean? Whoa. See how I changed that? did there? I start connecting these ideas all together, and it's super, super cool. We'll do it again. Oh. See, the point here is, the more you do this, the more you're going to have ideas flow off your fingers. So I'm going to start by playing some of these ideas that I wrote down, and watch how, as you get these on your fingers, they start to just sort of flow and they breed more creative things. Check it out. Hopefully. No! Go back. Stop you. Here we go. It wasn't very creative at all. I'm going to work that in a little bit. I don't really like F to E. That was kind of a jump. I like that lick. Like any of that. So if I start playing and it all just starts to sound a little bit like gibberish, I say screw it. Well, that's probably not the nicest thing to say. But I'll go back and be a little bit more deliberate with some of these ideas. So let me go back. So let me play a little more melodic. I screwed up the ending. I didn't like how that turned out. But I didn't mind the rest of it. It's gonna, if I'm recording, I might go back to the beginning, re-listen to it. There's an idea that I really like. Alright, check this out. So this. So you can break it up like this. Again, the main idea is to play a half step below one of the chord tones. It's not precisely to play that in a particular place. It's just the idea. How to implement it. Oops. What about so another place to put an idea like this with that C sharp would be in that A7. That C sharp works nice as a leading tone to the D. Here's another idea that you could just string together. So the interesting thing about that idea is you can sort of repeat it as much as you want, and you can alternate between this, and you can also change when you get to the A7 chord. You can change it whoop, to that. So gives it a bluesier sound. Oh no, it went back and it did that thing. So if I start throwing some of these ideas together to form a solo, and I'm not going to go into a solo without any idea what I'm going to play. I like to have a lot of things prepared and then kind of see where it goes. Like I'm just using some of the ideas that I'm messing around with, kind of formulating a solo based on the ideas that I'm coming up with, and then I can start to use that material to creatively come up with other ideas. You know, using these as springboards for creativity rather than just playing exactly what's written, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's like midnight and the music has stopped, and so must I. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later.